Hello? Okay.
First of all, let me say that what she has said is so very true. Meaning, it is really true that I came to this country in 1966, 45 years ago. I was telling Dr. Mahajan the other day, they didn't even know, even at UC Berkeley, where to place computer science department. They didn't know what is, should it be a separate department? So they placed it in operations research. And I happened to be in that department, and that's how I got into computers. So life does have situations which happens. You take advantage of it, and I was also lucky to then did my MBA there. So my early start was in Berkeley, right, after India, Birla Institute. And when I was here, when I look back, and if I put my prism or lens regarding entrepreneurship, I have to say, wait a minute, why did I go to Cleveland? If I would have stayed in Silicon Valley, I would have become an entrepreneur a lot sooner. So I went to Cleveland, because Cleveland was headquarters to Standard Oil, British Petroleum, TRW, Ameritas Bank, big corporations were there. So I grew in those corporations and CIO, big executive jobs, cushy offices, but there was no opportunity in Cleveland, to be honest, about entrepreneurship. They would never understand the word VC or anything like that. I did dabble to support one or two young entrepreneurs to become my partner, didn't work. And again, it was lucky accident that my company transferred me back to California. And when I went there, and this is the power that I want you to understand, power of association. So when I came back to Berkeley, as part of running a big company's division that we had just bought for $100 million, when I go to parties, my old buddies that never left Silicon Valley used to tease me. And one teasing was, Majak mein, Naren, we were techies, we were programmers. You were techie and MBA, you were still working for somebody else. Because by then, in Silicon Valley in the 80s, few people had dabbled and had created their own company. So Hasparty was one of them. Right? So it is that mindset and the association with these people, when the opportunity came at age 48, when I had 3 kids, 2 girls, 1 boy, still going through college and not married, I had the courage to go and start the company. And the reason, and you'll hear a little more about why I'm passionate. So can you move this? And you can put it on the full screen. Go to the next one. So before we go any further, right, you already saw this movie, the video a little bit. So one thing that, the reason why I'm going to be so, go back.
It's on a timer actually.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's on a timer.
Can you remove it? While he's doing it. So in Jaipur, there's a palace. You know that Jaipur is a new town. Can you please sit? It will be a lot enjoyable, if you not mind. It feels a little awkward to see all. Come here. Come close. Come here. So the point I was trying to make was, there's a big brand new palace that was built 400 years ago. And the king, at that time, 400 years ago, had instituted a group of experts and say, I want to make sure my population is also happy. Right? It's a brand new town, brand new build, new architecture. And so he asked them to come up with 7 things that will make it happy. So first 3 of those I'll just mention to you because it's written in a big words. If you go to Jaipur, everybody knows. So first is Pehlo Sukh Nirogi Kaya. How many of you know Hindi? Most of you, right? So I don't have to say more, but the idea is at all times, our happiness is very much dictated whether we are happy. If you even have fever, you're not as happy. Right? No matter what you are doing, if you're not healthy, you can never be as happy. The second one applies to all of us, clearly. At some stage, you may want to find a partner. If you do find a partner, and if there are common values, then naturally your rest of the life goes easier. But the third one is the reason I mentioned. It is absolutely true that our happiness is very much dictated throughout our life as to how much financially dependent or independent we are. And the definition 400 years ago that was given that time was not whether you have $1 billion, whether you have $100 million. It is the degree of independence from government, degree of independence from charity, degree of independence from your parents, degree of independence from your kids. So if you don't feel constrained by dependence, I have to do this because, that's when life gets very enjoyable. Then you can do what you want to do. So that is clearly the reason why we should all be entrepreneurs, right? Create the wealth that we should create, enough. Now you decide whether it's 5 million or 500 million or 10 million, that's a very personal choice. But less dependence you have every single day, where you have to run, right? And run, can't sleep, I'll be late. It's all stress, right? Now the other point, and we were talking for a second, if you don't mind, you say, all the issue I have is sometimes I feel too much stress. Now one reason for that stress was in that 3-minute video. If we quickly learn, that not everything is in our control. And if we can forget about things that are not in our control, your stress will come. Lots of stress happens because we are worrying about things that are not in my control. Now let me just tell you, today's event, unusual event, horrible it could have been for me. I go, wake up at 5:30, very early, 5 o'clock, get ready, Taxi comes, I go to airport. And guess what? Last night, in removing some of the cards, I left my driver's license. Just think, right? Now I've reached there. I could have had a heart attack. Here is my, wedding going on. Here is this event. But since I knew that, what can I do? Fortunately, I happened to go and just ask a manager, this is what has happened. Is there any way out? He said, well, I will call senior ABC and they will interview at length. If you pass, they will let you go. And that's exactly what happened. Now just think, for those 15-20 minutes, I could have had, right? Or I can say, look, the best I can do is ask him, right? And everything worked out. So my point really is that these three things are absolutely top. Now there are many, many more. There are 4 more there, right? And someday I can send you the links and so on. It has fame and it has, respect and all of those goodies, right? But they all come after these things. With this. Now, the point I was trying to make was, and I will show you so I had reached a point where I started this company. And by the way, it had become poster child company of Thai. Poster child. Why? Because they were doing their first Thai conference in 1994, first one ever in Silicon Valley. And they were looking for 2-3 potential role models, and they were very afraid that if we pick somebody wrong, it will have a bad start. And my guess is, looking back, the only reason they thought that I might succeed is because I was 48 and had done big jobs and I had an MBA. So I was one of the 3 presenters in that first conference. And because they were all excited, within a week, unasked, my Series A happened. Just whether it was Kanwal Rekhi, whether it was Vijay Bakshi, all the people that had succeeded, they all wanted to put money in my pocket. So this company, when it became IPO company, $2 billion valuation, we had 155 millionaires happen on paper on that day, and 80% of them were of Indian origin. And they all happened through Thai. So this company was not my company anymore, I can tell you. It was a company of the community, of Thai. And clearly, I was also the beneficiary, personally, because I learned from my peers. They all said, you know more. I said, no, I don't know about how to raise money, guys. I don't know how to start a small, tiny company. I was in a big company managing 3,000 people. How do I hire somebody, when I only have 7 people start? So I learned quite a bit from my peers, and peers were my board members. Kanwal was on my board. Vijay Bakshi from Microsoft was on board. Because of that, Paul Allen wanted to invest in the company. Paul did. So I had one of the best things that could happen, right? So this happened, and all kinds of good things were happening. But go to the next slide. So this is me, right? Lots of positives. This is the Fortune magazine pictures. IPO, right? Everything good. Go on next page. I was also doing all kinds of community work. In Cleveland, I had created an India Community Center. Berkeley, I was the president. We had done India Community Center in Valley, right? So all good things. Go on. I was part of a delegation that pushed India about venture capital change law, telecom change, right? All of those. And then I started my chapter that I became champion in 2000 Thai Rajasthan, which has become a very dream chapter in Thai. Even though there was somebody who was asking, Venu, was asking about, what kind of, I said, look, I can tell you, it's not about technology at all in Jaipur. When you think of Rajasthan, what do you think of? Jewelry, mining, tourism, heritage, on and on and on, right? So that chapter, 80% of the charter members are not high-tech, but they are absolutely top entrepreneurs. And they are running this thing. last 2-3 times they've won big awards in Thai world. So as you think about your own, you're suffering the same thing that we suffer in Silicon Valley. Everybody, when they think of Thai Silicon Valley, the largest chapter, they think of high tech. That's normal, right? Because it's so predominant, but it doesn't need to be. So when I started the chapter, I brought all the good people, the chief minister and so on. So all the good things were happening. But go to the next slide. Right, so all my friends came there to help me inaugurate Thai Rajasthan. I go there, by the way. I've been living 2 lives since 2000. 3-4 months I am in Rajasthan, making a difference in that ecosystem. By the way, now they have Wipro, now they have Infosys, now they have Mahindra SEZ. Now, Vasundhara Raje has come here. She has created her own venture capital fund as well. So lots of good things have happened in 10 years. And Business Week has written about how did this Registan desert change towards high tech, right? Modern entrepreneurship. So go on. And then final good thing happened to me, right? And that is my 3rd child also got married last year. So I truly, honestly felt like I was a free bird, right? Everything is good. But then what? Then I realized that one of the problems, and every year I go to Jaipur, who hits me? My father. He's 92 and he's active. My uncle, 94, active. My principal of high school, 102, active. Right? And they used to hit me, how come your health is not as good as ours? Why? Why? Right? That hit my head. And I wish it would have hit sooner. So one thing I'm saying is, many people ask, how do we, I can tell you honestly, since you're all entrepreneurs, you will know how to get it done. If what? If what? If you make that your number 1 priority. There are so many resources. I can make it a little easier with sending you links and so on, so it may become easier to go and look for those things. But I'm completely convinced, sitting in Austin, you have all kinds of resources right in this town. You just have to look if you want to look, or your spouse wants to help you, together you look, or your kids, or somebody or the other. There's no shortage of possibilities. But what stops it is it our priority? Right? Now, in my case, once I made up my mind, I started to look around. And I found that 2 charter members. There are 2 prominent charter members of Thai. He was the person, Dr. Shamdas, was one of the 3 companies that was presented in 94. He was there. So I've known him since then. Anil Goswami is the co-founder of India Community Center, somebody who sold his company big time to AOL and so on, just after Sabir Bhatia. Now both of these guys, if you come and meet them for the last 2 years, they are spending 80-90% of time over health. Health in what way? They truly believe, like entrepreneurs figure out where the big opportunities are for making money. Right? Entrepreneurs figure out where the gaps are. Today, the worldwide, trillions of dollars are being spent and more will be spent in correcting the health problem. Whether it is US, whether it is Europe, whether it is big towns, small towns, everywhere the problem has become acute. And because it is acute, people are coming and trying to solve problems. So Dr. Shamdas has this program that he is almost ready to launch in a big way. So he was doing a pilot. So I said, yeah, I'll be part of your pilot. So Active Living is his program. Anil comes from different directions. He says, oh, you've got to change your lifestyle. You've got to change your habits. Without that, nothing will happen. So he has support groups and so on that he's been running at the India Community Center. I said, okay, I will use your services to help. So I got these 2 people to sit down with me and say, what should be my targets? Right, so we set down 12-month targets. And basically, broadly what? Clearly, I wanted to, I was how many more pounds do you think I used to have? You saw my picture. Yes. How many pounds I may have lost in the last 12 months?
50 pounds?
30?
Anybody else?
50?
Anybody else?
62.
More. More, guys, more.
75.
More.
100.
100.
85. Right? So 12 months, right? But the goal was not just weight. See, that is the trouble. You can lose, you can gain. You can lose, you can gain, right? So what do you have to do? You have to also say, I want to become healthy, right? Why do I need to take medicine, right? You have to figure out a way to get out of that rut. And then you have to create habits that are sustainable forever, not after you stop this quote diet, right? That's clear. So number one I've already said, right? You clearly have to figure out who is your health team, right? Naturally your doctors should be, right? Whether it is PPO plan or whatever it is, you ought to know where your starting points are, what the problem is, whether you have heart difficulty or disc or anything else, right? And then find some support somewhere. Maybe a friend, maybe a family member, maybe a wife, maybe somebody. You need support, guys, right? Just like what do we do in entrepreneurship, right? All smart entrepreneurs create a support group. For sometimes formal like a board, sometimes advisor like a formal advisor, but sometimes kitchen cabinet, you go and meet somebody at Thai or somewhere, right? We all create that, or should create that, right? And then have a clear-cut feedback loop, right? So it is not rocket science, by the way. Now, there are good things happening, I'll show you a couple of them. But number one is, if you make it number one, you will figure it out. I have no doubt about it. If you find support, it will get it easier, clearly. And if your family members are supporting it, it gets even easier. So with that, move on. So we are then talking about few things, right? What do we mean by disciplined lifestyle, right? Clearly, acquiring good habits, whatever they are. And there's so much research done in scientific journals, psychological journals, that what is a habit? Habit is something that's automatic, right? You reach a point where you don't think, you just do it, right? Driving, all kinds of things we do, we don't think, right? So if you can figure out certain habit and know why you are doing it, right? And find out, just like think, when I wake up, just by habit, brush, right? That's a habit, nobody reminds me, right? Suppose along with that brush, immediately after that I said, I should be drinking a couple of glasses of water. If I do that for 20, 30 days, I don't have to think, I just do it, right? So things like this can happen, right? Now, the categories are important, right? Clearly food plays a part. So when you eat, how you eat, what you eat is important. And there is, by the way, and this is one thing that we will all learn as years go by, just like at one time, the tobacco industry had complete, because of its very strong lobbying, was able to absolutely dictate rules of the game. It took a lot of fights in the country to reverse it, to stop smoking in restaurants and planes and second-hand smoke and on and on. Unfortunately, in health industry, there are 6, 7, 8 lobbies. So it's going to be harder. What are the lobbies? You can guess. Fast food industry, soda industry. Believe it or not, very, very strong lobby of meat industry. They don't want you to ever go and see how they raise the cattle, right? Milk and dairy industry, right? They want you to not just drink milk, but cheese up to nth degree. So there's 7, 8 of them. And it has reached a point of epidemic where supersize me, all of this. Do you know how much percentage-wise obesity has gone up in just 10 years? 30% increase, right from childhood. So those are the problems. Then there's no question physical activity does matter. Now what kind of physical activity? There are many choices, guys. There's no, and I will give you pointers, but there are many choices. But we need physical activity. And currently we talk about stress, right? There's no question that stress, mind-body connection does matter, right? So stress is now many ways. You can say meditation, you can say yoga, you can say what I just said, don't worry about things you can't control. So there are many ways to do this, right? Now, I was just giving 3-4 examples, right? For example, in my case, right, it was obvious that I was not drinking enough water. Once started to drink water, it happened. The other thing that I realized, it's so simple, right? Clearly, for last 12 months, I just get up, by habit, get one glass of fresh vegetable juice. The amount and more types of vegetables there are, all kinds of nutrients coming. All day it goes better. Simple. I'm glad you have joined. I've met you before. So the point is, there are many others that you can do yourself. So go on. I mentioned to you about active living. Now here is Dr. Das, right, running this pilot program. Now what is he doing? I mean, it's interesting, right? He's a scientist, PhD, where semiconductor. He created those disk drives early on. For some reason, he says, I want to apply that in terms of how people build muscles and so on. So he has come up with a method, and I'm beneficiary. No equipment whatsoever, none. Right? No treadmill, no nothing. Right? Zero. You sit down, chair, and an hour is a regime, and every single part of your body gets exercise, muscles, you perspire, burn 500 calories, and the rest of the day. Now, my point is not to sell that program. What I'm saying is, so much research is going on, so many possibilities exist, so many things are already there. But along with comes what? He says, number one, what do we need? Air. So make sure through some manner you get the right amount of air, whether it's through Ramdev programs, whether it's Ravi Shankar. One way or the other, we need good oxygen, right? Good water and good food and good exercise, nothing else. So it's nothing more. And then the only extra thing that he has done, many people have done, is to the extent you can supplement because you want to build muscles to increase your metabolism. If you could also figure out some additional supplement, it helps. So supplement could mean vitamins or powder of some kind. Now, this is where there is a lot of wealth, guys. The amount of innovation that is going on in Silicon Valley alone, in terms of health, is phenomenal. Anything you touch has Wi-Fi, right? It's like, just think. I wake up, where do I go? My weighing machine. Do I record? No. I just go. It gets all kinds of measurements, my BMI, my this, my that, and gets into my dashboard, right? Through Wi-Fi. I do nothing, right? I go and if I decide to take a blood pressure, it records and goes in my dashboard. I can give you other extreme. One of my issues was, am I sleeping enough? Right? So all I do is, there is a wristband, sleep. It knows all night what I did. How many minutes it took me to go to bed, how many times did I wake up, how many times I may go to the bathroom, everything gets recorded. And where does it come? On my iPhone and my dashboard. So my point is, anything you can think of, people are thinking of ways to capture technology with this health. Billions of dollars, right? There is a university, I mentioned to you, Dr. Mahajan, Singularity University. Only focus, when you should really look into it. Their only focus, and this is a place where I can also give you a tiny bit of insights from Silicon Valley. I was introduced to that university by Vivek Vadva, professor. He is active advisor there. Now this university is at NASA, Moffat. And the only reason is there is so much research is available, they want to promote execution of that. So it's not a regular university, Professor Mahajan, it's just very focused university only on, so every year what do they do? And it really would help entrepreneurs and VCs. Every year they institute a lot of research and saying, let's figure out what are the 5-6 things that over the next 5 to 10 years will have exponential growth. We don't want to pick anything that is still in R. No. R is done, proven. Now it's a question of how fast will it develop. So they pick up those things that will have high growth and where the impact is in masses, $1 billion, billion people. So they pick 5 or 6 of these and then have all programs to educate people, entrepreneurs, high-level senior executives. So I went to 8-day executive, senior most executive program. And even though I live in Silicon Valley, I mean, I came back 2 times more optimistic. About what? There's a book written, I brought it here, that can you just pass that? There's a book by Peter Diamandis, and it says abundance. Now what is he saying? You read the whole book, there's a book there? Yes, just pass it. Now he, along with the Singularity University, have figured out that within next 10 to 20 years, anything that 9 billion people need in this planet, any normal things, right? What? Right air, right water, right food, right place to live, car, all of this we can deliver. Technology is here or will be here within 10 to 20 years. So we don't have an issue, can we not do it? The issue is all we know about, how does society, through elections, through structuring, how do we deliver it in an equitable way, in access. So the reason I'm saying we should connect with that is, when I got there, 2 out of 6 things that they were picked had to do with healthcare. Nano robots for surgery. I mean, this is happening. No, it's not Google car. I live in Silicon Valley, we read every day. But when I go and they took me in the lab and they showed, it's amazing. Just think, 5, 10 years from now, I go and just say, go home. I do nothing. I'm reading my book. Car just knows where it's going and it reaches home. And they've already proven, guys, that it is safer today. Today it is safer than bus drivers. Right? It still needs proving. It still needs a little more testing. My point is, all of this will create billions or trillions. We'll move on. Now, this is very personal, but I wanted to share because that's the reason why when I was asked to present it at Thai Global Retreat, within a day, 8 chapters pushed me hard to come and speak in their chapters. Why? But look at this. This is profile, right? August 2011 to 2012. Look at anybody of you medical doctors here? Anybody? Look, even I used to just see the pain for 15 years or more. What am I doing every single night? I have to put this machine, breathing machine, so that I get continuous flow of oxygen, air. It's called CPAP machine. It happens because of sleep apnea, where great portion of that happens because this thing is becoming too big, obstructs. I don't use it anymore. So whether it is hard, whether it is medicine, everything. No, can you see the XXL? XXL. Couldn't find clothes. Right? To S. This thing has 30. Right? No diabetes anymore. medicine gone. And this doctor is telling me, don't take any more. Don't need it. Right? So, it's gone. This is me, right? So IPO happened, so what? Was I really enjoying in a full way? Right? Where I'm standing, how many of you have lived in Bay Area? Right? So there is the biggest peak, there is Mission Peak, right? Everybody, thousands of people go there every day, right? And my house touches that Mission Peak area. And there is a way for my house to go up there. So I don't even have to go any place. But I did not have capacity to go up. So every day I look at it, I go halfway and tired. Maybe tried hard, 2/3 way and tired, right? So go on. So I'm now doing what? Playing table tennis, building further muscles, go on. This is Mission Peak in July. So I was able to go, no trouble. Go again, no trouble. Right? So I can do things I couldn't do. Go on. So now let me finish. There is a second part of this which I can speak for 1 hour, 2 hours, whenever it's more appropriate. But the point here is that so much wealth is going to be created in fixing our healthcare problems, in every which way. Whether it is health IT, whether it's fitness industry, whether it's organic food right here, whole foods industry, whether it is weight management, whether it's support groups, you name it. Right? Obama healthcare may last or not last, problem is not going to go away. Right? Clearly. So my only other thing is, don't ignore what's happening in the valley. Don't ignore what's happening in health. It's a big opportunity, especially for this intersection of technology and medicine. Big, big, big. So that's all I wanted to say. So any 1 or 2 questions on this, otherwise I want to spend a tiny bit
Let's
of
first give
time.
you a big hand.
Yes.